On Monday, August 16th, the moon was in Sagittarius. And that was yesterday, guys. It was a very interesting Monday for me. It turned into a very frustrating set of events, but that it was reflected in the astrology, I have to say. The moon in Sag first met the South Node, which can get you wrapped up in past patterns. The South Node really is about patterns in our lives, especially right now with regards to what we believe and know to be true. That could have been challenged as well by Mercury and Mars square to the moon in Sag, and having us have to really think about things, consider, discern. And I don't know if you guys are like me. Of course, I have my own astrology I'm going through, but it felt very anxious. It felt very anxious. I'm going to say that. And that's what, frustrations and little things like that yesterday, it really had me going. So sorry for the delayed report. So let's come to today, Tuesday, the 17th. We wake up with the moon still in Sag today. So we're still emotionally considering what we believe to be true, what we know to be true about life. That moon will square Neptune. In fact, it's squaring it right now while I'm doing this video. And that creates the need to escape. Well, rightfully so. With that Mars and Mercury in Virgo, which is heavy earth, and Uranus in Taurus, which is earth. And then the moon will very quickly move to Capricorn and we'll have a grand earth trine tomorrow. So today, maybe take a nudge from that moon square Neptune, which has us really kind of spacing out and doing things like meditating, escaping, but doing it in a healthy way, disconnecting from the Mercury Mars conjunction in Virgo, which is the constant chatter about health and about our life. And yes, we need to know that, but sometimes we need to disconnect. That's what Tuesday really is. In terms of Tuesday evening, we do have a brief sextile with Jupiter, which possibly expands this need to consider our future and what we're doing and what we believe about how societies work together, because Jupiter's in Aquarius. So Tuesday is pretty full of these existential ideas. I will say that. Wednesday becomes a little even more interesting. First, the moon squares Venus and Libra. The moon is freshly in Capricorn Wednesday morning. And the moon in Capricorn has to consider the rules and emotionally feel through who has authority over us and what has authority over us. Well, it's really wanting to kind of detach. I would say the moon in Capricorn is colder than the moon in Sagittarius. It's not in its favorite place. The moon's favorite place is Cancer. So Capricorn, which is a lot different than Cancer, it's earth instead of water. The moon wants to kind of put its head down and consider what has to be done on Wednesday. And it's square to Venus, so it has to consider peace and keeping the peace and making sure that everyone's working okay together and that we're not spending too much money and blah, 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 blah. So Venus in Libra is really great energy. Venus is at home in Libra, and it has us looking for justice in things and wanting peace and fairness. But that initial square of the moon to Venus can be a brief like, okay, well, maybe I have to shift the rules a little if I want to do things this way. And then later on in the day, the moon comes into a trine with Mercury and Mars. Now, Mercury and Mars are coming together on Wednesday. And this can lead to maybe saying things you don't mean. Mercury is how you speak, how you communicate, and how you think. In Virgo, we're being very focused and discerning. With Mars there, which is inflammation and action, you can see that maybe this could be naggy. This could be frustrating. It could be very anxious. Again, that's how Monday was. It was pretty anxious with the moon square that. Now the moon's coming into trine it, which is supportive, but can be a little too much of a good thing, right? So a lot of earth. And with the Mercury, Mars, and Virgo, it just seems like we are having cyclical thoughts and really having to ground ourselves. This is not the steadiest earth I've ever seen. Uranus is in Taurus, which is shifting what we value and shifting how we look at things like food and assets and the weather, right? So some really deep shifts in our values. Mercury and Mars and Virgo is like, and we need to be very discerning and focused and prune. And so it can be an anxious feeling, I think, Wednesday evening. The moon in Capricorn probably is maybe the most grounded of these things on Wednesday. So looking toward the structures in your life, the rules, the boundaries, and how they can support you, right? What else about Wednesday? The moon will also square Chiron Wednesday night, which can be a brief ouchie. Chiron in Aries is really having us push for independence, autonomy, authenticity. So if we're having to maybe be those people who follow the rules with the moon in Capricorn, that could be a little bit of friction. Like, I don't really want to do what these people tell me to do, but I know I have to do it. That's what that feels like. So maybe coming down on us some rules, I could see Wednesday with the moon in Capricorn. Okay, Thursday morning, we wake up with the moon later in Capricorn, definitely having trine Uranus, and Mercury and Mars have already come together. So the biggest story, I think, Thursday is that the sun later in the day comes into oppose Jupiter in Aquarius. Okay, so let's break this down, because at the same time, and this happens, the sun moves to the 27th degree of Leo at just after 2 Central. So maybe early in the morning is not as busy or astrologically speaking. Yeah, I mean, we've come off all those trines, but Mars and Mercury are tracking together. So it seems like the biggest story does happen around 2. Now, the buildup of the sun opposing Jupiter is almost arguably just as important and busy. So maybe that's what we're feeling Thursday morning. So what does the sun opposing Jupiter mean? The sun in Leo is pushing for fun and enjoyment, but Jupiter in Aquarius is like, hey, what are we going to do with the way we work together? What is your truth in terms of how you come together in a society? Aquarius is humanity, large groups of people, and Jupiter is truth and belief. Okay, so with the sun opposing Jupiter, you're probably going to have people digging their heels in. It's a fixed, both of them are fixed signs. The sun in Leo really wants to have fun. Jupiter in Aquarius is like, I can't have as much fun as I want because I'm being held in by Saturn. So maybe expect some realizations. You may, because Mercury and Mars are still together, I just see the anxiety being a big deal this week. And again, that could be because I'm feeling it myself. But I would be, remiss if I didn't caution you on sun opposing Jupiter as being it expands our need to creatively actualize ourselves, to do what we want, basically, do what makes us feel good. Jupiter in Aquarius is like, no, but you have to think of the future and you have to think of what other people will think. And Venus in Libra, which is coming into a trine with Saturn, is like, what will people think? We have to keep the peace. And the moon, because why not, comes in to join Pluto. And then we may feel the need to either break or enforce a rule. Pluto is power. It's in the sign of rules, boundaries, and structure, and also mastery. So the moon meeting that briefly on Thursday evening just kind of adds to the flavor of how do I stand in my own power? How do I get my needs met while also balancing all of this stuff going on in the outside world? Very, very clear. Yeah, I could see like Sun opposing Jupiter is like the quintessential preacher on the sidewalk. Like that's the energy. It's like people just, especially with Mars, Mercury, like people just shouting what they need to say. Maybe people being very annoyed and focused with that Virgo energy. Virgo does give us the added benefit of seeing to the details of something. So don't want to be all negative with Virgo, but all of these things coupled together, it just seems like maybe we might get some news that is frustrating and feel the need to make some of our own rules and stand in our truth on Thursday. Now, Friday, we've got the moon moving into full moon territory. So Friday morning, the moon moves into Aquarius. Okay. We've had the sun opposite Jupiter exactly. And now that's separating. Now it's still degree wise there. So we got a lot of Aquarius and then of course the sun in Leo. So the first thing that happens when the moon moves into Aquarius is it hits Saturn. Let me make sure that no, it hits Venus first. So the moon trines Venus. And what I like about this on Friday is that the moon is very close to conjoining Saturn at the same time, which means Venus and Saturn are very close to being in a supportive trine with one another. That's really great. That means really capitalizing, and of course I say that with Saturn, on this restructuring of our goals and our future, and then also our tribe, who we hang out with. I mean, it's larger groups of friends, but you can say how you work inside of that, how you cooperate, how you build the structure of the people that you are around, your local community even. And another reason I can say that is that this also trines the North Node in Gemini. So perhaps we are speaking the future into existence with our friends that day. That's what it looks like. Maybe doing some planning with some people. The South Node is making the point of a kite with this Friday. And so it really is about letting go of beliefs that are holding us back. Maybe we need to open our minds a little on Friday. I think that's the most important thing. I do like Venus coming into a trine with Saturn and the moon being there as well. It indicates we are building a structure that is supported by these Venus concepts of fairness and beauty and peace and cooperation and compassion. So I like that. Now, Friday, Mars is preparing to exactly trine Uranus, which has, just recently gone retrograde. Let's talk about that. When did Uranus go retrograde? That happens Thursday night, Central Time anyway, after 8. Uranus stations retrograde. How fitting is it Uranus stations retrograde with Mercury trine to it on Thursday night? So I'm thinking a big piece of information we may learn, something big on the technological scheme. Also with Virgo, Mercury, it is about health. We could get some information. What would be really great is some innovation, and we come up with a cure for this absolute evil virus that is just messing everything up. So let's hope for that. Maybe someone has an idea that day that can help us. So yeah, Uranus stations retrograde, and the rebellion, the revolution gets bigger. That's how it goes. When a planet stands still Thursday night into Friday morning, it gets bigger energy. So we are definitely feeling the need to shift out of that. Excuse me. of that fixed earth energy. Uranus is shaking it up. So I wouldn't even be surprised if Thursday, Friday actual earthquakes occurred. That may sound crazy, but hey, that's what I am. Friday, we have the air trine with the kite that I spoke of, and Uranus trine Mars. Now, that's Friday night. I always say with Mars trine Uranus, don't do anything dangerous. It's just my thing. Mars Uranus aspects, no matter what they are, I'm just like, watch your physical body. You can have upheaval in that area. So, might not hurt to keep it close to home on that date, and do some inner searching. The moon also hits Saturn just before. So it could feel pretty, maybe heavy. The moon hitting Saturn is like an emotional obstacle. But it does move past that. And then we really get into new moon territory. Let's see here. That new moon happened, or full moon. I'm sorry, not new moon. My brain having a hard time keeping it together, guys. Full moon happens Sunday, early morning. So Saturday probably will feel just like heightened buildup. And with it being meeting Saturn and being square to Uranus, it's likely going to indicate that, we have some rules to live by right now, and it's going to make us want to just rebel and break free. But the full moon's going to be like, check in with what's true for you. Check in with what you want your future to look like. Check in with your belief system, with what you know. That's really what the full moon holds, because it's very close to Jupiter. It may illuminate some things for you on the full moon. And I'm going to come back in and do a deeper video on the full moon, probably around Thursday or Friday, and what it means for your sign. But for this week, that's the energy we're heading towards. Every movement of the moon moves closer toward full. Okay. So it's building energy, and it's extra building because the sun is opposing Jupiter most of the week. Uranus is trine Mercury Mars most of the week. It's quite overwhelming, can be anxious, definitely inviting us to shift the way we think and the way we do things. Venus is really nice. I think I'm just really excited about Venus coming into trine Saturn. We need that grounded air. We really do. We need to have some truth, which I think Venus also, it's fairness. It's got to be truth. It's justice, right? So maybe there will be this silver lining of, I see what I value and I see what to keep to build the future that I want, with Venus coming in like that. So all in all, it's a pretty full week, and energetically big. I feel it in my body. I feel like my anxiety is at an all-time high, and that, is related to certain things in the outer world. And it's also just related to how I feel like in my body. Some of these things are in my 6th house, which is health. So, I mean, I would love a report back from you guys, how you're feeling. It's been a pretty crazy start to the week, and I think we only have some crazier things to look forward to. Mars trining Uranus while it's stationing retrograde is a big deal. Mercury trining Uranus while it stations retrograde is a big deal, and a big upheaval, mind-blowing innovation, inspiration, revolution, rebellion, breaking free. It's freedom. So I think we see a way to our freedom, but wow, is it like super uncomfortable, I think, with this full moon energy coming up. It's there for our help, but we also need to try, I think, to stay as grounded as you can during this time, and remind yourself what's true. Remind yourself what reality is. These are confusing times. Take care of yourself. All right, guys, I'll be back with a full moon video very soon. I shall see you later.